Hi, Warriors. Gap Fest yesterday. Many filled, some not. Who knows which aren't? Hi, AJ. How you doing, Bran? You never saw me surf, or you wouldn't say that. James, Michael, Glenn came in. How are you, buddy? Ryan, Hugo, Ingmar. All right. All right. Okay. So let's go to work. Telios is here with us, so probably has a silver update. Before I get to him, though, uh, the strongest rebound yesterday was cable because cable came all the way back and filled the gap. Okay. Euro, it barely did. Aussie didn't. Oh, Aussie did. Okay, so all those gaps were filled. And, is this an important failing rally in the dollar? When I took a shot yesterday, I had no idea. I was hoping this would work and that the market wouldn't recover, but the market recovered. I'm flat the market. I covered my stuff yesterday. And something I know Stel's here, but I just want to point out to Gold Bulls for the first time that we're getting non-confirmations on a 4 hour. There was an Elliott target around 28.35 or so, and we got to 30 yesterday. So I'm actually looking for gold and silver shorts in the next few days. Uh, I think Mo is shifting there, but who cares what I think? I'm a host. All right. So can I bring you a cocktail, Ryan?
Oh, now we're
I,
talking.
no, I'm a host. What would you like?
I'll have a mojito, please.
All right. Will that help you see the board better? Because
Yeah, it's just both.
all right. So what are I want to tip my hat to you. Before we left yesterday, you said country specific, and you know, Mexico was the first country, right? I mean, uh, that was the biggest reaction, country specific. So that was really interesting, and then Canada was later, right?
Yeah,
So it's almost like dominoes.
yeah,
So, so now that we have that out of the way, um, the only one that he has, China's reaction. Have they already started to retaliate? Because S&Ps
yeah.
are, yeah, okay,
But it's all small stuff at the moment, and dollar one didn't blow out like the others did. It actually went right up to form of resistance, that high point I've been leaning on previously, and
oh
tapped it on the
yeah,
head and
yeah,
before coming down.
that's
But
one of the
it's
wild, yeah.
I
Go ahead.
want to point out something that's really, really clear, and it's a good lesson for traders. Um, Techs over big headlines, you can't rely on your techs. But you look at your dollar, euro dollar. Okay, before you go on the chart, what was the level you wanted to try it at? Do you remember?
103.10, 103.10,
103.50 in our
one
room.
of,
I know a lot of people
yeah,
looking at 103.50. Look at where we opened. Look at where we closed Friday, and
right,
look at where resistance is now.
right, yeah, that is
Look at
classic.
Yeah, look at Aussie dollar. 61.70 was the level below. Look where we gapped opened below, bang on 61.70. Look where support is now, 61.70.
Yeah. So
So
it's
it's
almost
a
like
lesson.
yesterday. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's a lesson that your techs may not stand up to anything during big headline moves, but after they come right back at you again. So you can start relying on them again. And you've got to learn when to switch on and switch off.
Okay, and sometimes you have to let the dust settle to see
Yeah,
that's what's happening instead of getting caught up in the emotion of the moment. So, it's okay to say, I don't care if I miss it until I see something that's meaningful to me,
Yeah,
you
it's
know.
like a mirror image. That one, you stick a little line in across those, at
I,
61.70. It's just like a mirror image.
yeah,
Break down, break up, come back
yeah,
again.
yeah. So, the dollar had a chance yesterday to, blow out every dollar bear. Now I'd say that, dollar bears have the advantage right now.
For the
Um,
moment.
yeah, for the moment. So, CAD, now the problem is if you didn't act, what do you do here? What if you're bearish US dollar CAD? I mean, you know, you have to wait for a bounce, I would say.
Yeah, we're
Look,
back in the range. Look, even there,
yeah,
145 already resisting after the
yeah,
move back down. We've had a range that's been running since the late part of 2024, December. We've been stuck in at 143, 145, call it. We've had all these headline moves. We're back in the box. So what you can do with these ones, we're talking country specific. Basically, Canada and Mexico have got a free pass for a month, so you can go back to trading the fundamentals because
that's right.
there's the headline risk has reduced somewhat, probably for the next couple of weeks at least. So you can go back, trade the range, trade the breaks, as if the tariff stuff wasn't existing.
Yeah, and forget that the sword of Damocles is hanging over the market's head.
Yeah,
Uh,
you can worry
you
about
have
that for weeks before.
you have a vibe on yields. They're really kind of fighting their way back. I thought we'd get at least back down to 430, but when I look at TLT, I'm not impressed.
Yeah.
I still think that longer duration yields are going to make one more new low. What do you think that would do to the board if we had another rally in 10 years that comes out of here and challenges 475 or takes it out?
Yeah, something's changed. Either the Fed have
Yeah,
had to get far more hawkish, or Trump's done something, or it's a
yeah,
risk event.
yeah,
But that 450, we were saying it for weeks. That's the big level. We had a couple of goes. We had some goes trying to get through. Can't get through. Can't get through. It can only go one other way if it can't go down.
yeah. Anyone trusting the pin bar that we got in Aussie yesterday? So I mean, everyone knows the reason why I went with cable, and I threw a dollar in there anyway. It was one that held up the best. But Blake was showing this during our show yesterday, and it hadn't completed this kind of reversal. But that doesn't look bad. Look at the glaring divergence here. It's not a huge risk. I mean, you have to risk 100 pips or so to maybe have a major bottom, and even if you have a bear market rally, this is 800 pips. Halfway back is 65. So you know, I'm going to look to finesse something in here. And does this mean China? So basically, uh, Aussie was worried about the tariffs yesterday in the morning. Unlike Canada and Mexico, China reacted completely different, right? They didn't bend a knee. And, I heard from commentators that Canada already had that money committed a year ago that was part of the deal.
Yeah,
Okay. And Mexico was already had, they had 15,000 troops there. So it really was kind of just a lot of drama for what was already happening, what he
politics.
thinks
Yeah,
he got. I
yeah.
mean, anyway, just the day's
Nothing
work.
changes. Claim the win. That's it.
Yeah.
That's politics.
All right. Well, thank you, Ryan. Stel,
Pleasure,
you
mate.
want to Stel, you
Hello,
want to grab the screen?
I will do that. And first, I'm going to just make a quick comment about tariffs because everybody's talking about tariffs these days. And I want to say my opinion. Okay, I think tariffs are only a way to negotiate, a tool to negotiate, because I don't see any scenario where a tariff makes it better for the people of the country that imposes the tariff. So let's say you're the US and you're importing stuff. Why would you import a product? Because A, you can't make it in your country, or B, it's cheaper outside your country. If you
Right.
can't make it, then if it's something that the people actually really need, you're gonna import it anyway at a higher cost. So that's not good for the people. If it's something you can't make, but it's a luxury or something you don't need, for example, you can only import Ferraris, you can't make them in the US, then okay, maybe some people will not have this particular product. The other reason you import something is because it's cheaper to make and to import from elsewhere. So what happens if you slap on a tariff and you decide to try to make it in your own country? Well, it's going to be more expensive than you were importing it before, by definition. Otherwise, you would not have been importing it. So at the end of the day, the people, let's say, of the US who are imposing tariffs on other countries are going to be suffering. I'm going to not suffering, but they're going to be taking on the extra cost.
Yeah.
And if you think about what, for example, the US imports from Canada, Canada is number one exporter of oil, crude oil to the US. So crude oil is energy. If energy becomes more expensive, then everything becomes more expensive. So at the bottom line for me, tariffs are just a negotiating tool. And look, it's kind of working, right? You see the reaction from Mexico, but to actually say that it's making your country better or safer or whatever. I think that's just nonsense. I think it's just a very powerful tool that you can use, and Trump is playing poker and is playing hardball. So that's my view on tariffs. We could talk about it for hours, so I'm not going to. Um,
If you
so
do, I'm going to put a tariff on you.
yeah, yeah. No, you talked
Good.
about you talked about yields, and
Yeah.
I think you guys and Ryan are absolutely spot on. 450 is a big level in the US. It's actually lots of confluence here. Supporting
Yeah.
there's a ascending trend line. There's a
Let's
50
look.
DMA. It's a zone. It's everything. I remain of the opinion that this is going to break lower, and if it does break lower from here, then it's a long way down. If it doesn't, then like Ryan correctly said, something has changed. If that happens and we try to test these highs again, then we're going to have to reevaluate. But my main scenario is that yields are going lower everywhere. Um, so
Okay.
this is what I think about yields. You mentioned gold. Yes, it's making new highs, new all-time highs intraday. Um, Momentum slowing on the 4 hour. It's a little bit of divergence on the daily. It's still looking pretty good to me. So I don't see any reason to be looking for a top here. Of course, anything can happen. You know how metals can be very volatile. Uh,
Do you know what the setup is like in COT and sentiment on DSI?
don't
And
remember it. No. Do you
yeah,
remember it?
okay. No.
I think it's
I
high. I think the DSI is probably 80 or so in the 80s. I need to
yeah.
check. So it is high. So, a little pullback, of course you can get it. But what has fundamentally changed, in my opinion, not much. And if what I think does happen, which is lower yield and eventually a weakening dollar, then that's definitely a tailwind for metals and for risk assets in general. Um, Silver is, as always, underperforming. Gold silver ratio is still okay, just under 90, but it's very high compared to the average. And silver is still in no man's land. It really needs to break above 33 and change for me to be saying, yes, this is a breakout. So for now, I'm still playing it. Carefully. So I have my core long from 2310, which I'm not touching. I keep repeating this every time I'm on here. I got another position about 10 days ago or 2 weeks ago at 2975. I really like that. If we get close to those 33s, I'm probably going to let that go and see if we manage to break out or we turn lower. Because we have been, with the exception of this little breakout here, we have been trading within this channel for the past year and a half, a year or so. So silver underperforming, and um, you know, until this ratio,
It
breaks.
tried to roll over last week. Oh,
Yeah,
so it
yeah,
held your line. Okay, interesting.
yeah. It's still not
Right.
doing anything, the ratio. So
Yeah.
until that does, then I don't think silver is going to be outperforming gold. But at some point it will.
Maybe one more high. I see two spikes above your line. Thank you for that look.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Um, Equities have been a little bit under pressure lately, but yeah, I'm so boring. Um, Still no technical evidence of it, of a break, a reversal.
Oh, okay,
So
that's the averages. Let me just ask you something.
yeah,
They took out Apple and shot it. They took out Nvidia and shot it. They took out Microsoft and shot it. Um, it isn't the foundation of the rally weakening that Mag 7 stocks are, diverging from each other? You have Meta, it's a star right now. But, I mean, those are big companies
yep.
with lots of market cap.
Well, they were the main driver, right, over the past year or two.
Right.
But you could also read that in a positive way, right? Because you can say even though the big leaders are failing now, or they're not really driving
That's a
higher, the
narrative.
markets
Yeah.
is still okay. We're
It,
still just going sideways. This is
it's
not the
broadening out is the
yeah.
argument.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not saying Chase is higher, but do I see any technical
Hey,
evidence? No.
I
And I've said
I
this.
don't know what to do. I was bearish. I'm out now. It'll probably crash. Okay.
Well,
Um.
I want to
Go
see
ahead.
below 5,700 to say that
Yeah,
okay,
that
this
is a love that level.
yeah,
Yeah.
5690 probably is better. I
Yeah.
have 6670 to 5690. That's
There's
the
more
area.
to the left too. If you scroll out at 50.
Is
Oh,
there?
oh, you're on a weekly, I guess
I'm
now.
on a daily. I'm on a daily.
A
Yeah, I'm on a
daily. Oh,
daily.
okay. Yeah, but that's a
Anyway,
big
so
level.
for equities, my view is unchanged.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry to be really boring, but I don't see anything different. If you are long and you're riding the longs, there's no reason to panic for me. Um,
Okay.
And if you short, then what's happened the last year or two. If you've been shorting, well, you get taken out unless you're really trading, the 5 minute chart or something like that. So nothing new for me. Cryptos are interesting. You know, Bitcoin is still consolidating sideways. So Bitcoin is the equivalent of gold in metals, and silver is Ethereum, because Ethereum on this oh, by the way, this was such a nice technical level. It touched this trend
Yeah.
line, really really nice support there. But from the highs to the lows, Ethereum had dropped 40% or so, which is insane. So the store of value argument goes straight out of the window. It's an amazing speculative instrument, but it's no store of value. I don't think anybody can argue for that. But as I said before, Bitcoin is trading a lot better. It's still kind of consolidating sideways. So once again, if you put a gun to my head, unless something changes, I think this is probably going higher along with other risk assets, at least for the
Okay.
short term.
S&Ps and Bitcoin have at least one more hurrah left in them.
I think so. One more. I think you got it right. One more, and then we'll
Okay.
see what happens. But
All right.
yeah,
Let's give her. Thank you, Stel. Let's give a hurrah for K-Man. 1, 2, 3. Hurrah!
hooray!
Aloha. Aloha.
Aloha. Aloha. How are you, Kay?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad.
So, EG, anything else?
Uh,
What's your take on
well,
like US
well,
dollar
probably
yen?
intermediate level around here, 83, 20, 30. We'll see where we go from here. I reduced my short and on that dip down, and yeah, waiting for what's happening next. There's still enough uncertainty on Europe, I'd say, for something to happen there. As I was saying already a couple of times, we have to trade them by block of tariff or non-tariffed. You have the USMCA block, then you have the Chinese and whatever comes with it block, and then you have Europe. And Europe is benefiting a little bit from the uncertainty or the potential non-tariffing of all the rest. So that's somewhere where the euro is taking its bid tone from right now. Um, it could all have been just a storm in a glass of water. Well, a big glass of water in an ocean.
Yeah.
What we saw, and because if it stays at negotiating, even like threatening and so forth, the market's going to get so used to it and probably going
Good point.
to leave it aside. I yesterday I've switched from gold into silver as on the back of the non-tariffs. I think there's perhaps just, well, I mean, barring the dollar being sold or so, a bit less potential right here and now in gold than in silver. So I flipped it gold around here, let mine go at 28 and a quarter, and I bought silver back just around 31, 25, 30.
Nice.
Cla
Target?
Little bit of a zone here around 31, 70, 80, I'm going to say. If that goes, then I think we may be heading for 32, 30, 50s perhaps. That is how I look at it. But it's just for the shorter term. I mean, longer term, if we get very little tariffs and we get little impact on real economic data, the global economy is still doing kind of okay. Of course, Europe is in a bit of a slump, but and then I can see if there's revival possibilities, silver should outperform, I reckon. But we will see, of course.
Okay. Blake, how are you today?
I am doing fantastic. How are you guys,
Okay,
team?
we need to hear you. That's our edge today.
Well, I'm just gonna say I want to first of all congratulate I want to congratulate everybody in the Forex Analytics community that was just trading the short side of the dollar CAD yesterday. The dollar CAD just had a really, really massive, obviously really massive reversal yesterday. And we've been talking about, selling at 47.50. And we basically gapped up there. And I think you could go through the entire community yesterday, traders on the short side, and just scroll through, go to the trades room and just see everybody shorting the dollar CAD all yesterday. And it was a crushing day for the dollar. And the one thing I want to say about what we're seeing here is that is a massive reversal candle. And now the dollar Canadian is sitting on a knife's edge. And as Ryan pointed out just earlier on in the show, we've got 30 days now with the Canadian and with the Mexican peso to really trade more technicals. We have obviously, we have Canadian jobs at the end of the week. We have a lot of labor market data coming out this week. We have JOLTS jobs data today. And if that data, if we've been speculating for a long time, which hasn't been the case, but we've been speculating that the U.S. labor market might start showing some signs of weakness. This might be a situation where we've seen such a massive dollar Canadian reversal. And if we start to see US labor data show some weakness this week, with the Canadian data being relatively steady, it's going to play really well into the technicals that you see here. And so I want everybody to be focusing on the dollar CAD, especially if we take out, the lows from the last couple of days. You can go all the way to Friday, 143.70. We're only 40 pips away from there. We start breaking through that level, you're going to start to see some probably, air come out of the dollar CAD. It is just an ugly chart. So I want to just congratulate everybody that was, listening to the week ahead video, people in our community that were trading that. It's just been a hell of a trader. And I know we at the Forex Analytics community have been really preying on that one. So that's been great. And Dale, I think there's a lot of great setups this week, especially if you're talking, I was just looking through some of Grega's work, and you can find it on Forex Analytics, and just take a look at, well, here's his Elliott wave work, ending diagonal, where Greg is looking for, this is the dollar mex, but let me pull up the there we go. Ending diagonal. Well, I guess he accidentally put up the I was looking at the Mexican peso too. Ironically, he just put up the wrong chart. But if you look at the dollar mex, and there's an ending diagonal, which is obviously one that you should be focused on as well. Too, you start breaking below 20, in the dollar max, and that's going to be an ugly move too, because I was shorting the dollar max above 21, but yeah, you can see we start getting below some of the support, and it's going to be ugly. And I like the way that they're setting up. And the dollar just looks kind of nasty all the way around. I mean, you got the euro building this ascending wedge, and we all know that there's European tariffs coming our way. But there's been a lot of articles and a lot of comments, and I was actually just listening to, before we started, about half an hour before we started, I was listening to this podcaster, and you should have heard the sarcasm in his voice about tariffs. But it kind of echoes the sentiment of everybody right now, which brings in another dynamic, which I'll talk about here in a second. Everything that I've been reading, and all the economists, you hear them all going, yeah, they're just threats. Tariffs. Like you already saw, the wording this morning was, you already saw Trump cave, meaning he basically puts on these tariffs and then says, all right, we'll give you 30 more days, and to get the negotiating table. So what that suggests is everybody's looking at Trump as he's being a little soft. And the dynamic is, if he is starting to think other people are thinking that, he might actually come out swinging with China, with Europe, and be a little bit more hardline, which obviously could reverse a lot of the stuff that we've seen in the last 24 hours. I think it's interesting because of the feedback that I'm hearing, and then what I've been reading and what I've seen. So I'd like to ask, like, Ryan, you and K-Man have been up for a while. You guys have kind of probably read and taken in more information than I have this morning. What are your thoughts about what's transpired over the last 24 hours regarding tariffs, especially with Canada and Mexico? Like, let's start with you, Ryan. What are your thoughts there?
Exactly as expected. We said that, soon after the election, even when it looked like Trump was coming in, he's going to tariff, and he tariffs to get people to the table. People say that Trump's folding. Well, by the looks of things, it's Sheinbaum and Trudeau folding. Sheinbaum said she's going to put troops on the border. She's going to do this. She's going to do that. She did get a few concessions out of Trump as well, but that's the art of deal making. So who's folded? Has Mexico folded, or has Trump folded? I'm inclined to think that it's more Mexico folding than Trump, for the reason, like you say, he's not going to want to show a weak hand. Then everyone else will try and take the piss out of him. But the end game is always to get a deal done. He's got 10,000 more troops on the border. Does it change anything, really? Is it going to change anything? No, but he can come in this morning and go, hey, we've got a deal. We're working on a deal with Mexico. Isn't that great? And all the voters go, yay, happy days. And that's the game.
Navarro said something yesterday, and he's like, the moment that Canada and Mexico realize this is more of a war on drugs and not a war on trade, and I found that fascinating. Maybe he is getting what he wants. He wants to stop, immigration and fentanyl and all this other stuff. But look, I'm just going to trade the price action, and we kind of are forced to at this point, as we probably are going to go into a little bit of a quiet period. And look at this dollar Canadian. I mean, it's looking very, very vulnerable. But thanks, Ryan, for your feedback there. How about you, K-Man? What are your thoughts regarding what you've heard the last 24 hours or whatever?
Yeah, I don't think it's only about drugs and stuff, but immigration is of course one of his big talking points. There he seems to actually have succeeded what he wanted to obtain. And then, as I said earlier, I think we need to differentiate between several blocks. He now is in the process of, because I mean, 1st of March is still another deadline, but he's in the process of getting Canada and Mexico aligned. Canada may not be, well, I mean, both of them may not be done, because Canada, for one, is still exporting a lot, and he was like shouting about like very big numbers about their trade deficit. But he also knows that there's a bunch of Chinese stuff flowing through Mexico. There he via an executive order, managed to close a loophole, and that is to have those minimis abandoned, where there is no tariff on imports of parcels or items under 850 bucks. So we managed to close that as well. So yeah, he's getting where he really wanted to be, and he's getting at the way he wants to do it as well. You know, hit first and then ask if it hurts. That is so he seems to be getting it. And you know what? If that is what happened, let's say to Canada, it makes it a bit less clear because there's more going on, and we have the Banxico tomorrow as well, and so there could be. But if he gets it the way he wants, we had this spike, let's say, in both dollar Canada and dollar Mex, but they are both coming off now, and let's not forget that he wants a lower dollar because he wants to export
Yes,
to Europe
that
and everything. So he may be winning on both sides actually.
and that's exactly that's the next point I wanted to make. And I know Dale, you got your interview here with Don, and Don's not on social media, so I don't want to take up his time. But that's exactly it. I look at you just take a little bit bigger look out at the dollar index, and you're right, K-Man. Ultimately he wants a weaker dollar. And look at that gravestone doji and the dollar index yesterday, lower high.
A lot of them.
Yeah, there are a lot of. You're right, Dale. The hammer and the Aussie. I'm a little bit reluctant to play the Aussie, even though it's a false breakdown, and we got a big hammer. Even though I don't have any long exposure, I feel like I want to. It's just kind of got to figure out what Trump's going to do with China. But I think overall, I actually still want to be short dollars. But man, there's a
Yeah.
lot of setups that are brewing. And guys, like I said, if you want to know what we're all doing in the trades room and exposure, now you can see I got limited out of the U.S. dollar Japanese yen yesterday. It was a wild day in the markets. You want to know all the positions we're taking and what we're doing, which you can follow along. You can just use them as confirmation, whatever the case may be. Make sure you're in the trades room. You can see what my open positions are. But that's in the Forex Analytics community. Come join us there. Dale, I'm going to let you take over. Dale or Ryan, K-Man, thanks guys for keeping us up to speed, especially during the flow show. And Dale, thanks for guiding us every day. And Don, I know is here for your interview, so I want to pass it all back over to you, Coach.
All right. Well, thank you guys. Full crew today. Stel came in, Ryan, Blake, and I was going to say about, oh, yeah, don't isolate, collaborate. Really, don't isolate yourself. Collaborate. Find a community where you continue to grow. Surround yourself with people that are more proficient, and you'll rise to their level. All right, that's my pitch. Hi, Don. Happy New Year to you, buddy.
Happy New Year there, Dale. How you doing?
Good. I think the last time you were on, you had a seasonal in oil that worked out pretty good.
It's still grinding higher. I think I know a
Yeah.
lot of people are bearish on oil right now, but I think they're anticipating maybe something Trump is going to do. But if the seasonal's there and the commercials are still liking it, you got to like this oil. So
You have anything? What were you prepared to talk about today?
I just put up an article yesterday on bar chart for a silver market.
Oh, that's great. Okay,
It's interesting because silver's been
yeah.
kind of complacent lately in the news. I was looking over the news yesterday and I was like, no one's, well, not yesterday, I'm sorry, about a week or so ago. And I was noticing, man, no one's talking about silver. So is it gone off the market? So there's a little
Well,
complacency set in, and now we might be getting a pop.
okay, so you're bullish here. Okay, because
Yeah,
I
short
thought
term.
I thought it might be coming to an end. You have seasonals on that? Let's see your
Yes.
word.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, well, you want to share?
Sure will. Yeah, let me pull this up
What
here.
good is anything until it's shared with another?
That's right. How's that go about a candle loses nothing by lighting another?
Oh, yeah, there you go. I like it.
Yeah, let me see if I can find
So,
this chart here. Here we go. And then share.
do you do the gold silver ratio, Don, to kind of come up with your preferred longs?
You know, I don't. It's something. It's kind of like following the crack spread in oil, gasoline, and heating oil. It just it's from people at a totally different level of knowledge than I am. Let's put it that way. So
Okay.
it's too many moving parts for me. I do a
You're,
lot of spread trading, but I do a long 1 month, short another, something like that. I don't
I
get into
see.
butterflies and octopuses and penguins. I just like give me my calendar spreads.
All right. Okay.
Okay. Can you see my screen now with the bar
Yeah,
chart?
got it. Got the bar
Okay,
chart
cool.
up there.
All right. So anyway, this is barchart.com, and for people who want to follow, there's a link on here. I can show you that. And also, by the way, I did get onto X, I guess it is, or used to be Twitter or whatever it was called. I basically just go on and post my articles and stuff on there, but basically it's the at Majestic Futures. I don't know if there's a chat or I could type that in here somewhere, but and then you can follow me
Okay.
on there as well. But here on Bar
Oh,
Chart,
that's great.
you can get all of my historical articles I've written for the last 2 years and something, and basically I just write one a week. But on the home page, there's a column here, it's just called News. Click on that. And over here on the left, it's just got featured authors. And then down here is the name Don Dawson.
Yeah.
I don't come up, and these are all my archived articles down in here about everything you can think of in the commodities markets and the equity market as well. But just one I just wrote yesterday about silver prices are welcoming Trump's negotiation tactic. And basically, it's kind of like, in my opinion anyway, just kind of giving it a boost, to come along and make silver a little bit stronger, obviously for, with Mexico's ordeal yesterday. But, it's kind of like, it reminded me of the recession we had back during COVID. We had like the shortest recession in history. We kind of like went into it, went out of it super quick. And it was almost
Yeah.
like that yesterday. We started the morning off. Canada and Mexico both have tariffs. By the time I finished writing this article yesterday, both of them had been resolved. I was like, man,
Yeah.
But anyway, it was a pretty interesting day in that matter.
Yeah. I guess we have to get used to it.
Exactly. There we go. Yeah, I'm hoping it's a little bit more mellow this time than the first time around. Man, I'll tell
Oh,
you what, that was some scary mornings waking up. And
are you kidding me? Look who's coming to visit him today. Benjamin Netanyahu.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I know that everyone thinks they're mainly going to be talking about Gaza and working out the peace deal, and I'm sure they will. But I strongly believe that they're mapping out war plans for Iran. And the reason being that's the main mission of Netanyahu for 20 years, 30 years since I've been following him with presentations in Congress and everything. And the other reason is Trump knows that assassination attempts and there were people out to hit him that were being financed by Iran. He's not the type of guy that's going to just say, I'll just move on. So
Right.
keep that in mind, oil traders.
Yes. Oh, for sure.
All right.
I wouldn't
All
want to
right.
be short oil. Let's put it that way. It's not anytime soon, that's for sure. So basically, and here's the tab up here. Follow this author if you ever just wanted to follow me. And like I said, I post my articles on LinkedIn and also on X as well.
Okay.
And so basically, it just kind of all started out talking about with Trump and his tariffs and everything like that. And I used to every time I hear like Trump talking about putting tariffs on, I always come back to what Trump is, and that is he's a businessman, and he knows he is good at negotiating. I don't care to love him or hate him, but that guy is a businessman and can negotiate. He might have to put some leverage on people, but he knows how to do it. And that's pretty much, and he did that, remember, with the Colombian government recently.
Yeah.
And even before he got in office, he did that. I can't remember what that whole story was about. He had put something out, some kind of a threat, and it was resolved within a day or two. People already, like, okay, we'll do this. So I look at it like that. But I think what happens is the media just automatically goes on a tangent about how inflationary tariffs are and blah, blah. And they're not wrong because in the long run, if a tariff lasts long enough, they are. But in this case, we're seeing, and that's why I put in here about it was fortunate that Mexico and Canada came around on the negotiations because it didn't have to go into a situation where it was going to create inflation or immediate inflation and so on like that. But I'm in the camp that we do, and we are in this country. We have to get these borders secured. I stand strongly with him on that, and I don't care what it takes, but we need to get that done. This country is just going totally the wrong way about letting too many illegals in this country. So that's got to get resolved. So I'm definitely I'm in alignment with that. However, what I'm seeing here is when he's coming and making these Trump these tariffs announcements like this, and you take Mexico, which is the world's largest producer of silver, that's obviously going to have an impact on something like the silver market, right? So anyway, I was talking about that with the complacency kicking into the market, and the complacency that I was seeing was, like I mentioned, there really wasn't that much talk about silver. A lot of gold talk. We were talking about that. Somebody was even bringing up, I think it was uranium the other day or something. But a couple of the metals like that, and copper might be showing some life or something. But silver kind of went off. And if you looked at the chart, you could see we had a nice run up, and then we kind of went sideways for a while. But and then started this uptrend in December. So that was a good thing too, because if you get too many people who are too bullish on the market when it first starts out, it seems like it has to kind of come down and clean out the stops first and then want to take off. But when you have a complacent market and it starts in an uptrend, you don't seem to get those volatile moves back to reject those lows again. So fingers crossed that's going to be the case this time.
Well, there's been all kinds of news where you don't have to cross your finger about really shortages in the physical market. We've heard about gold. Bank of England's taking 8 weeks to deliver gold now. I've been reading all kinds of things about shortages in warehouses, and people are substituting different types of silver bars that aren't exactly contract spec. So there's, like there has been for years, the positions, the paper positions, especially the shorts compared to what they have in the warehouses, is like, well, that's what the squeeze is going to be about, right? It'll probably happen during a delivery, like a March delivery month, or a July, or a December.
Yeah, it'll be the bigger months, right?
Yeah, yeah. So
yeah, that'll be interesting.
Maybe that's brewing for March.
Never know. The one thing I found about metals news, whenever you see an article about metals, I always go and look and read who the author is. And if it's anybody who is selling metals, I really take it with a grain of salt. Okay, I saw a couple things about silver a couple weeks ago. Somebody came on, and they were from over in the UK somewhere, and they were just hyping this silver up, saying silver is on fire. Oh my gosh. It's gone inverted. It's in backwardation. I immediately went into following spreads. I want to know that. And it was in contango upside, normal market. And yet they were hyping a backwardation market. I was going, no, not quite yet. So anyway, and that was, again, was somebody who was selling gold or silver or metals. And I was like, I hate when people hype stuff up like that, but that's a good thing about following price action. The market knows everything, right? You don't even have to understand the news. All you do is follow price action. And that's how you make your money anyway. So the thing here on this particular technical picture was, and bar chart just started putting this up recently. I just found it recently, but it's got all the major moving averages, like the 200-day to 50, to just the ones that a lot of people look at. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to use them, but you look across here for silver, and we're green, 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 green. So it's pretty positive as far as that goes. As far as over the moving averages. So that's a good sign too, especially when you're getting a nice seasonal buy coming in. You kind of want to see some positive like this. You wouldn't want to see red, 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 red if you're looking for a seasonal buy. All right. So this is another positive for us right here for a seasonal pattern. And the other one is, this is the December low that we had. And it's not, I'm not saying this is a bull market right here, but we are certainly showing the signs of higher highs and higher lows coming off of a seasonal low, which I'll show you here in just a moment. And it's just kind of grinding higher. But what's interesting behind this is who's doing this buying. This is the structure of the price market right here. And up here is the cash market, which basically the spot market is another word for it. 31.57 at the time of the screenshot that I did. And what you notice is the futures prices are each month as we go further out are getting higher, like 32.45, 49, so on like that. And that's called a normal market. And all normal or contango, all that means is that this allows commercials who have the spot market or need to buy or sell this can go out here into the future, especially producers, and sell contracts at higher prices to hedge. Like if they own spot right now and they want to sell it later, say they want to sell it in December of 25, they can sell it for 33.45 right now. And so
That's
any
carrying charge market.
right, exactly, right. Storage interest and is what they're doing. So basically, this is just a normal market. Commercials can actually hedge in this kind of a market. And it doesn't really tell you if the market's bullish or bearish right now, because pretty much supply demand is in balance, if you will. Not we're not totally in balance, but it's not out of balance, let's put it that way. Now, what I've showed this for is because if we start to see the spot price starts to go higher than our futures contracts, and each one of the futures contract prices get lower as we go out here, that's going to be the sign of a bull market coming in silver. So keep an eye on this spot March is our first really major contract right here, but keep an eye on these right here. And we start to see these diverging, or worse, not worse, but better. If this starts to go higher, the spot price goes higher than the futures, that's a backwardation or a bull market right there. Okay. That's something very, very positive for a market. And basically, that's the commercials have to do all their activity in the spot month because they can't be selling lower prices. For example, that same hedge, if you're a producer and this is at, say, $29 and the spot's at 31, you're not going to sell a December contract at 29 when spot's 31. You're going to do all of your selling in the spot month, right? So everything's done here and now in the spot market. So keep an eye out on this thing going backward. If it does, very, very bullish scenario for silver.
Okay.
Now, here's the commitment of traders report. And this was interesting. I'm going to go back over to the left. The yellow line represents the price of silver, and this is for the managed money. All right. So this would be your commodity trading advisor, CPOs, so on like that. The yellow line is your price action. Blue bars are the number of long positions they hold. The red bars are the number of short positions they hold. So you can see overall they've been very bullish silver because they've had more longs than they've had the shorts, which are the reds. The greens are spread bars, but don't pay attention to those right now. So what I want to show you is back here in this February timeframe, coming up here into May. This is usually a seasonal peak that we see in silver prices up in here. But what happens in here is look at each week as we're going through that seasonal pattern. And this is what we're in right now, pretty much. We're at the beginning of this. Look how each week, how managed money comes in and gets longer and longer and longer. Basically, they're trend followers is what it amounts to, right? And right on up till the peak. And as the peak gets in, they start unwinding by selling their longs, okay? Not necessarily increasing their shorts. They're just selling their longs, and that's what's pushing some of this price down. And now over here where we are in December 24, when we put that bottom in that we were talking about back up in here, all right, just double bottom in here. When we put that in, look how the weeks since have been getting more bullish. They're getting more bullish. Last week, man, not so much. Be curious to see what this week does. So this is a very good sign here where you're having a seasonal low, and I'll show that to you in just a moment, and you show managed money coming in like this. You have an uptrend coming into the market like this, and it's just encouraging. And the moving averages, that's kind of confirming, okay, things are looking pretty bullish here. So I'm just kind of looking to see if I can get the stars to line up here. It's pretty much what I'm trying to do. So this is very positive for what we have. Now, from the standpoint of the seasonal picture, there's that April-May high that I was talking about right here. And last year, we came in there and we hit that peak and we came down. We had this little gap up, or not gap, but this run up in here, got a little higher prices, came right back into the old May highs though. But anyway, so we get this. Then we come down, we put these July, make it low, and we get a bounce. October, we get a bounce. And pretty much we followed that this year. There's your July, August, we get the bounce. We come down, here's your October, and now we're getting our next bounce up in here. But December's the one that we really want to pay attention to. And it's amazing, like crude oil is another good example how December becomes such a low price in crude to start that rally going up into the driving season. But this is the silver market. And you can see December right here starts to do, and this is a 15-year average, by the way, I'm sorry, by more research, and on the spot market. So for the last 15 years, this is what silver has done on average, and that is put their lows in around that December, and we get this rally that continues right on up in here's our January right here, and we're going to go a little sideways, and then we get this pop up into April again. So this is the pattern I'm just kind of looking at right now, and with everything that we've got going on, especially with these guys starting to buy into this move right here, and again, the price action is showing a pretty good uptrend right here. It's looking pretty good right now. I'm not saying we're going to $50. From here, I don't know. I never try and predict where we're going to go to. I just follow trends. And when I follow my trends, I just want to see who the participants are. Is it strong hands or weak hands? And then, is there a seasonal pattern that comes in and supports that? So that's pretty much what I'm looking at for here in the silver market. And then again, I think when you have I look for things like, Trump talking about tariffs, or it could have been anybody talking about anything, but I like to see a catalyst coming in during a seasonal pattern because it really just kind of adds fuel to the fire, and that gives a little bit more kick to get it going. So it really rounds out the stars when you can get a good fundamental or a catalyst that kicks in like that to support your trade.
What kind of
And
instruments are you using
well,
to
I
take
got
advantage?
down here, got a couple things that you can pop into. Here we go. The SLV, which is your exchange traded fund, you can trade off
Right.
of that. Okay.
Yeah.
The futures markets has got the standard size
Right.
future. That's a huge contract right there. So it's like
5,000 ounces still?
Yeah, it's a lot of capital, and volatility is not is not something that you can be afraid of because you've got to love volatility in that market. There is a micro size that has been doing very good as far as liquidity goes, so you can trade that on the futures contract. And then also for you guys in the forex market, obviously you guys know a lot more about this than I do, but the XAG to US dollar, and I assume there's probably other currencies you can trade it against. But this one
Okay.
here will give you your current spot price for silver trading it. So multiple ways that you could be trading or participating in this move up without exposing yourself to a lot of risk. I mean, obviously, this guy right here would be the huge one here. That would be, you've got to be a well-funded trader and very good risk management skills and hang on to this one.
Okay. Appreciate it. Really nice stuff. Why don't we'll exchange emails for the next time we get together, include your handle and help
Okay.
you build a following on X, Don.
Okay, well, cool. Okay, yeah, you just like say,
You
like
know,
keep the articles posted on there, and then you get the feedback on from.
yeah, I see you on LinkedIn a lot too.
Yes,
You
yeah,
could
that
find, yeah.
yeah. I find that
So
very interesting. When you get on LinkedIn, it's I got quite a few, like even people down in South America, there's coffee producers and so on like that. They're very engaged on LinkedIn, and just like
yeah,
keeping up, listening. And those are like sort of the boots on the ground, if you will, down there. You don't have to listen to the news. You can actually watch their feedback. What they're putting out there, and get some really good information.
yeah, good platform.
Hmm.
And platform's nothing without great content. And
Hmm.
you deliver every time, Don.
Oh, thank you.
Appreciate it, buddy. And I hope that you end up stacking. Someone makes a delivery from Fort Knox and fills up your living room with 1,000-ounce silver bars this year.
Well, thank you, Dale. Hey, I wanted to give you a hats off too. When we talked last time, I was looking for looking for corn to come down and retest those lows, and all it
Yeah,
did was went sideways a little bit, but then it started a nice up move, and you were actually bullish at that time. So we give you some
yeah.
credit for
Well, I
that.
appreciate it. I'm
It's a
telling
good
people
call.
to build silos and put that weed away. Calling it the Joseph trade, Don. All right.
There you go.
Yeah, we're gonna have to be prepared so we could feed people.
There we
And
go.
thanks for feeding us today, Don.
Oh, well, thank you for having me, Dale. Always a pleasure.
All right, buddy. Be in touch. Don Dawson, everyone, follow his work on bar chart. Find him on LinkedIn. Um, the gentleman that referred Don to me said that the one thing he hopes to inherit in his life would be Don's seasonal work. All right. So anyway, learn from him while old timers are still around.
There's
And
only a handful of us.
yeah, and with that being said, this dinosaur says, "Don't just count your pips, count your blessings." Have a great day, everybody. Uh, get used to what we see, and I think the dollar, if they were going to blow out dollar bears, they had their chance. So, still bearish a dollar, and see everyone tomorrow. Okay, have a great day. Adios. Thanks again, Don. They're thanking you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
I'll catch you in the spring, bro.
Okay.
All right. Adios, crew.